Hey there, teacher friend. Welcome back. I know this episode is going to just light you up because one of the biggest questions I get when it comes to starting a micro school or any type of a teaching business is, what about the money? And I'm scared to do it because I don't know if the money's going to come in. How do I make sure that this is really going to work? I honestly believe that this is probably the biggest fear, even though there's a lot of fears when it comes to creating change. I truthfully feel as if the money part of it can become one of the most inhibiting factors when it comes to not even starting your school or when it comes to not stepping out. We're so conditioned to stay where we are, continuing to get the paycheck, no matter if we know it's not going to last us as long as what we need it to last us, even into retirement, even if we're living paycheck to paycheck. Why is it still so hard for us to make a life change? And this topic comes up so much for those who are trying to either walk away from their business and start something for the first time, or maybe grow their business. There's just so much that comes into the money part of starting a business. I get it. I know. I have had moments where I was absolutely clear, and I had moments where I absolutely had my head in the mud. And my head was in the mud because my husband and I just wanted to change so badly. We wanted to be out of corporate America, and we just knew that if we just step out and we work together, by God's grace, it will work. And we struggled. Not necessarily even financially. We just struggled because mentally we were not prepared. We had to figure things out so quickly. He started a painting business. I left teaching, just wanting to make a change, and knew that if I sold jewelry until I figured it out, we would just set sail into the sunset. But truthfully, God redeemed us through giving my husband an opportunity to expand his business and work with another business, and two, allowing us the opportunity to start our micro school. Once you start and you know you're embarking on a new path, it will inspire you to come up with more creative opportunities to make additional income. You're not stuck in the rat race. You've stepped out. You've gotten more courage. And now you're able to think beyond the box that you have been placed in. So even starting our micro school with 6 children, I was able to replace my income. But then I had more time freedom and more flexibility to then start Teacher Let Your Light Shine. And then as I started Teacher Let Your Light Shine, our school continued to grow, not because of Teacher Let Your Light Shine, not because of the podcast. This is something separate. Our school is called Lighthouse Learning. But when I stepped out and got out of the fixed mindset, got connected with other people, started developing a new way of helping people through the podcast, still continuing with our micro school, I was almost set free. It's almost as if I was given this new download of ideas. And then our school, Lighthouse Learning Micro School, continued to grow and grow and grow. And now guess what? All of us have potential to grow it as big as we want to grow it, which means that you can grow your income more than what you ever could have sitting in public school, going up the teacher track of administration and whatever else you decide to do, working additional jobs on the side, just by adding 1 student, 2 students, 3 students, 4 students, if you want to, by the way. Today's podcast is going to be dedicated to knowing your numbers, okay? Knowing your numbers so that you can put aside the fear that you're not going to make enough. Get some clarity on your income goals so that from that moment you have the room to breathe and to plan and to hopefully get more downloads of creative ways to increase your income. Let's get into it. Welcome, teacher, to the Let Your Light Shine podcast. If you're searching for the freedom and permission to design the life you love as a teacher, you're in the right place. I'm on a mission to help teachers just like you build their own dream school or homeschooling business. In this present day, the world needs you, teacher friend, to step out in faith and give students an education they love and so deserve. In this podcast, I will teach you how to start a fulfilling and profitable homeschooling business that lights you up. I'm Mackenzie Oliver, former elementary teacher and instructional coach, gone homeschool teacher, and business builder. I'm here to empower you to step outside the classroom and choose the experiences, the curriculum, and all the moments that put a smile on your face and your students. Does it seem like a dream? Well, it did to me, until God opened the doors and made it reality. Together, we are breaking through fears and moving the crowd. So get out your notebook, sharpen your pencil. It's time to get your teach on. Okay, everybody, you cannot forget that if you have not looked at teachersletyourlightshine.com/resources, you need to go there. It's all free resources that will bless you exponentially. Whether it comes down to time management, whether it comes down to finances or business legalities, I have, with the help of my wonderful digital manager, Madison, created so many freebies for you for goal setting, for income allocations, business basics, laws, checklist, roadmaps. It's there. teachersletyourlightshine.com/resources. Go there, grab all the goodies, put it in a binder, and get yourself a nice little pen or pencil and some notebook paper and start your brainstorming. Start every time you listen to the Teacher Let Your Light Shine podcast, have that binder there. Okay, I know you can't do that because most of you guys are commuting to work, or you're working from home, or you're taking a walk, or you're on a run. But come back and jot down your ideas in your binder so that you can create your business binder. Okay? All right. Today's episode is going to help you know your numbers. Now, while I can't physically get out my calculator and help you crunch your numbers, I just want you to make sure you write this down so that you gain even more clarity. You need to be able to know how much money you need in order to make this really work for you. There's your stretch goal, there's your goal, and there's your bare minimum, okay? So I like to start off with a goal. Let's say I just want to replace my income, and you don't even have to go that far. I want to replace my income. Maybe you want to go further. So if you replace your income, let's just for easy's sake say it's $50,000. My goal is to make $50,000. But then you say, well, I want to make sure that I cover healthcare and I want to make sure that I can put in retirement. So I'm going to actually say $65,000 or $60,000. But then, I really would like to get paid like an administrator. Now I'm going to put it up to $75,000. Whatever it may be. Just know if your bare minimum, or start off with your goal, I want to replace my income, $50,000. A stretch goal would be $60,000 or $70,000. Maybe a bare minimum goal would be $45,000. Pray about it, talk to your spouse about it, write it out, crunch some numbers. It doesn't have to take very long. This doesn't have to carve out, 4 hours. Just jot down some numbers, figure it out a little bit, and promise me that you won't let it stress you out. But once you write down the number and you come and you set across the table from your spouse, it becomes a little bit more clear. It becomes more real, and it allows you to have a monetary quantitative measurement in sight. You can hang it up, refer to it each day, high five and tell your husband, listen, I'm going to replace my income. I'm going to get 10 kids in here. I'm going to replace my income. I'm going to get 6 kids in here. You know what, honey? And you just keep doing that over and over. High five. Honey, I'm thinking about replacing my income, but I'm thinking honestly, if we get 2 more kids, that's an extra $20,000 or, $10,000, however much your tuition, however much you're charging. That's another conversation. But you at least need to have a number in mind because here's the deal. There's qualitative measurements and there's quantitative measurements. Quantitative measurements give you clarity. So giving yourself a number and just hanging it up and knowing that you can actually make more, supplement your entire income your very first year with the right strategies in place, if not more. So you can hang it up, write that number down, hang it up, refer to it each day, and your number will probably end up changing for the better. Because the longer you look at it, the longer it just sinks, the more it sinks down into your soul and into your spirit, and you've got something that you're working towards, and then it just ends up becoming really realistic. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your income goal. Let's say it's $70,000. You're going to take your income goal of $70,000 and you're going to divide it by however many weeks you think that you will actually be teaching. So for us, it's 38 weeks. All right. Knowing your number. So let's say it's $70,000 is your income goal. And you're going to do this without hiring any employees the first year. And you divide that by 38 weeks. That's a good amount of time. That's typically about 180 days. So $70,000 divided by 38 weeks is going to give you $1,842 per week. Wow. And then you think, well, golly, how many students could I really have? If I need $1,842 per week, how many students could I get? Well, I know that I could fit 10 kids in here. I can fit 10 kids in here. By the way, in parentheses, I'm going to tell you, we're not talking about how many hours a week or how many days a week right now. Let's just look at the numbers. So my income goal is $70,000. I divide that by 38 weeks. Divide it by more or less, your choice. I know that I need to make $1,842 per week. Now, if I know that I can fit 10 kids in my vicinity, then I will take $1,842 and divide that by 10 students. And I know now that I can charge $185 per week. It is like, oh my gosh. So if I have 10 kids and I need to make $1,842, if I charge about $185 per week, I will meet my income goal. Now, what do I think a family would pay me for when it comes to $185 per week? Would that be a 4-day week? Would it be a 5-day week? Would it be a 4-day week and a half a day Friday? Would it be 3 days a week and a half a day on Thursday? What would it be based on your area, your market, your needs, what you see? But knowing your income goal divided by how many weeks you are going to serve children will tell you how much money that you'll need to make each week. And then you're able to ask yourself, how many students can I enroll? And what will that monthly tuition look like? Now, side note, I will say that our curriculum expenses are set aside. So parents do pay a separate amount for their child's curriculum expenses. This will give you such clarity. That's all I want you to do today. This podcast episode is not to be confusing. This podcast episode is to give you an actionable step. So if you did not write this down, you didn't have a notebook or a piece of paper, all you need to do is go back, rewind this back a little bit, and do your math. Now remember, there's going to be some fluctuations. There's going to be some changes. But the very first thing that you can do right now is look at your number. That's exactly what my husband, he learned that through his painting business, always knowing your numbers. And as you gain more students, you'll continue to change your number. As you decide that you want to start investing in other areas of your life, maybe you want to invest in stocks, maybe you want to invest more into your retirement, or maybe you want to invest in gold, whatever it may be, you're always looking at your number. It tells you how many students you need. It helps you look at your tuition rate. It allows you to understand how much you need every month. You can even divide that number into 12 if you would like, so that you know, oh my goodness, if I have to do this, if I need to make $70,000 in 12 months, how much money do I need per month? And then that way, now granted that your tuition is going to go up a little bit. However, you're at least doing the adult thing, which is looking at your numbers, doing some math, and starting there. Just as a baseline, I encourage you to go over to teachersletyourlightshine.com/resources and take a look at all of our other information. There's one about allocating expenses for your business so that you know that, okay, if I have $70,000 is what I need to make, I know that 5% is going to go into taxes, 30% needs to go into operational expenses, 50% goes into my owner's pay. Maybe I need now to raise that number up a little bit, but you first have to do the easiest yet hardest part, which is making yourself sit down, giving yourself a number, and playing around with the numbers. I'm excited to hear what you come up with. Make sure if you're having trouble with this, just pop into our Facebook group and make a post and say, help me with my numbers. And I guarantee you everyone is going to just flood and try to help you break it down or give you more insight. It's really, every time I do this with my coaching students, they're like, whoa, I never thought of this. I know, numbers really do bring clarity. Even if you're not a numbers person, I'm so not. I don't like stuff like that. I don't like the spreadsheets. I just don't like working with numbers. But I can tell you that once I did start looking at my numbers, it motivated me and it inspired me. And I hope it does the same for you. Join us over at the Facebook group, Start Your Micro School or Homeschooling Business. And don't forget to check out those free resources, teachersletyourlightshine.com/resources. Hey, teacher friend. Thanks so much for listening to today's show. I pray it inspired you, touched you, or challenged you in some way, because we are making big shifts and using our teaching gifts for God's glory like never before. I'm so grateful for you. The number one way you can support this show is to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts and also share this with another teacher. Come join me in the Virtual Teachers Lounge, known as the Teacher Let Your Light Shine Facebook group. Until next time, keep shining your teacher light. The world needs you.